Hello and welcome to AM Language. Hello and welcome to AM Language. This is another live video. It is Christmas week, and unfortunately, I can't really get my hair's a little bit funny today. It's getting to that stage where it's just a little bit too long in every single way. It's got a mind of its own, as we would say in English, but never mind. Behind me, you can see a television with AM Language's YouTube channel, and we are now approaching 590. So make sure, if you're new, subscribe, and we are getting very close to 600. Irina F., welcome to today's lesson. Thank you very much for joining. Good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. Let me see. I think we should be able to find the video. I'm going to try over the Christmas period. I'm going to go for this sort of visual with AM Language's YouTube channel behind me. So we can have a nicer visual than just a black background. Roberto, good afternoon. Buon pomeriggio. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well. So I can, we're up to 581 subscribers. This is amazing. Let's see if we can. I'm pretty confident. Maybe we can get to 600 by the new year. That would be great. So over the Christmas period, I'm going to continue giving these lessons. But this week, today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then the week after, from the 5th, January the 5th, which is a Tuesday, and we will return to normal. So over the Christmas period, it's just going to be 3 times a week. That's all. Because Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I'm not going to give the lesson. I'm not going to give YouTube lessons on those 2 days. But all the other days, 3 days a week, not too bad. Let's see if we can keep this engagement going. I should add, by the Evelina, good afternoon. Buon pomeriggio. Now, I don't have my headphones. I have lost my headphones. I don't know where they have gone, and I might have to get some new headphones. Hopefully, you guys can still hear me well enough. Well, I hope anyway. So yes, today we are going to look at a Christmas story, a very famous Christmas carol story. We're going to look at some vocabulary. We're going to develop our language. And if you let me know what your favorite Christmas carol story is. So let's see here. Please be very okay. Right, so that's done. Let's get into it. We're going to look at Elida, buenos dias, because you're in Patagonia. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you so much for joining. Merry Christmas to everybody. So today, that's a point. I don't have my glasses on, and it's probably a better thing if I do have my glasses on. I hope everyone is doing well. So today, Scrooge is the name of the Christmas carol, a story about Ebenezer Scrooge. So let's start off with that. And the name is interesting in terms of Scrooge. So this is a story about a character called Ebenezer Scrooge. Now, Scrooge in English is a good word to know, actually. So we'll start off just by explaining. We'll explain what the Scrooge is. So when we say someone is a Scrooge, I don't know if it comes from this story. I don't know the history behind this particular word. However, what I can say is when you say, let's say, when we think of Scrooge, we have certain ideas in our mind, mainly to do with someone who is what we'd say tight with money. Okay, tight with money. Now, if you're tight with money, it means you are not you are not genuine. You're not generous. Okay, you keep a lot. You keep your money, and you don't like giving money out. You don't like spending a lot. I mean, if I had to think of an adjective, if you describe someone as, let's say, you say he's a bit of a Scrooge. Okay, let's say you say that. What you're really saying, he's now, I think we've looked at this before, but you're saying he's stingy. He's not generous. Yeah, he's not generous. He doesn't give out money. He doesn't give money to charity. He doesn't spend a lot on anything. So he is tight with money. And that's what a Scrooge is. Okay, so this is the story, a Christmas Carol story about Ebenezer Scrooge. We've also got some very good sort of language that we can look at. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and explain to you the story, but it's going to be in a summary way. What I would like you guys to do is we'll start off just with more of like a listening activity, whereby I'd like you to try and write some notes just in terms of what you think the meaning of what you think happens in the story, and then you guys can tell me in the live chat. You don't try and copy everything I say. Keep it more in terms of just like a list form, so you can then tell me. So you might end up writing things like an old man, tight with money, not friendly. Okay, you might write something like that, and then if you wanted to create a sentence, you would then say, Scrooge Scrooge was an old man who was tight with money and wasn't friendly. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at. Okay, that's what you're going to try and do in this first activity. So, Ebenezer Scrooge. It's a Christmas story, and it happens the night before Christmas. Okay, so Christmas Eve. Now, Ebenezer Scrooge has a reputation. He doesn't like to give money to charities. He doesn't like to help people. And he doesn't buy people Christmas presents. And then this Christmas Eve, he goes to sleep. And before he goes to sleep, someone tells him, you need to be careful. Something bad might happen to you if you aren't going to be more friendly, or if you're not going to be friendlier, if you're not going to be more charitable. And there's a catchphrase, well, a phrase that he likes to say whenever anyone tells him, warns him, he ends up saying, bah, humbug. Okay. When he says these words, he acts with the way he is with people. He shows bitterness and venom in his angry voice. Okay, I'm just going to make some notes for myself as well that you can see. So this Christmas Eve night, he goes to sleep. and he is visited by 3 ghosts. The first ghost is of the Christmas past, and here a strange childlike ghost takes him on a journey into past Christmases. Then all of a sudden he's visited by the second ghost, which is which is the ghost of Christmas present. Okay, and this is a majestic, giant, green ghost. And then finally, he is visited by a third ghost, which is the ghost of Christmas yet to come. So a ghost to show him future Christmases, where he shows Ebenezer Scrooge's death. As a result, Ebenezer Scrooge is scared. He sees the mistakes he has made, and the following morning on Christmas Day, he's a changed man. He now wants to go out and he wants to give money to the poor. He wants to buy people lovely presents. He wants to be generous. He wants to be warm. He wants to be welcoming. Okay, so that is the idea of the story. Let me see if you guys can kind of summarize the story for me. I'm going to write some more notes over here in the live chat, and then you guys can try and tell me roughly what the story is. Okay, so don't forget, it's Christmas Eve. Okay, he goes to bed as an angry, bitter man, and he's visited by 3 ghosts. Okay, visited by 3 ghosts. Christmas past, present, and yet to come. So that's to do with the future. Wakes up as a different man. Okay, so these are some notes that you might have written. These are the notes that I myself would write. Let's see if you guys can put some of these notes together to try and give me a really brief summary as to what the story of Scrooge is. So you don't need to write a lot, but you need to try and make sure that you can get things down that are important. I'll tell you the story again whilst you're writing. Maybe that will help. So, by the way, this bah humbug sort of thing, it's a kind of way of saying rubbish, nonsense, I don't believe you sort of thing. It's saying like, stop talking to me, really. So I'll tell you the story again as you try and create your sentences that can briefly tell me what the story is about. So it's about an old man named Ebenezer Scrooge, or just Scrooge. He's tight with money. He's full of, his voice is angry, full of bitterness and venom. 2 words that we will look at later. Now, someone tells him that he better be careful, otherwise something bad might happen. And he goes, bah, humbug, rubbish, and goes to bed. That Christmas Eve night, he is visited by 3 ghosts. He's visited by the ghost of Christmas past, that shows him the Christmases of his childhood and the ones before. Then the second ghost is this big green giant of a ghost, the ghost of Christmas present, and that shows him Christmas now in the present. And he's then visited by a third ghost, the ghost of Christmas yet to come. So Christmas of the future, and shows his death. And Scrooge is scared and decides he needs to change his ways. The next day he wakes up a different person. He's more generous. He's a warmer person, and he wants to be friendlier as well. So let's see what you guys try and write, and then we'll look at some vocabulary that we can use when talking about this Christmas story, including words like bitterness, venom as well. And this way of talking about the future with these three words, something that is yet to come. So that is what we're going to look at. Now, I think the story, it's a really famous story. It was written by an English author named Charles Dickens, who was very famous for writing some brilliant stories. I don't have the complete collection of Charles Dickens. I think that there are certain authors of this type of genre that I would like to collect in years to come, and Charles Dickens and a few others are definitely on my list in terms of collections of classic English writing that I would like to get my hands on. Leondina says, hi, Richard. Sorry for being late. Not to worry, Leondina. We are talking about Scrooge, A Christmas Carol, a story of an old man who doesn't like Christmas, who's not generous with his money. Oh, I love this novel. Definitely. Okay, so you know the story. Okay, very good. I'll give you guys a little bit more time. If any of you are struggling, not to worry, let me know, and we can do another activity to build towards this one. Just to remind you guys, we've got this word ghost, which is like a spirit. I think the word ghost, it's not Latin, it's definitely Saxon. So it comes from the what you would call today Germany, but it's more Germanic in its origins. It's definitely not Latin, because English has a lot of Latin, but there's a lot of Saxon or Old German maybe. So it's a bit of both. So Roberto says this is a story. This is a story is about. Okay, I see what you've done there. This is a story about Scrooge, a stingy man who used to act with bitterness with his angry voice. At some point, he meets three ghosts, past, present, and future ones. As a result, he gets scared and decides to change his behavior. He becomes a different man. Roberto, really well done. I think that's a really good attempt to try and summarize the story. Really well done. The only thing that you probably need to look at is just the first sentence, and it's the first part of your sentence. But I can. It's easy to forgive you on this one, considering how good the rest of your post is. Don't forget, when we use this is, we're going to need, and we're talking about one story, we need the article. So this is a story about Scrooge. But really well done. I think that's a good summary of the story about Ebenezer Scrooge. I'll give you guys, okay, leaders come in with Scrooge was an old man, tight with money and unfriendly. He didn't like to help people and didn't buy Christmas presents. On Christmas Eve, he went to sleep and he was visited by three ghosts. The first ghost was a ghost of past Christmas and took him on a journey to the past. The second ghost was the ghost of Christmas present, and the third ghost was the yet to come, and he showed his death. As a result, Scrooge was scared. He saw the mistakes he had made, and the following morning he wants to be generous, friendly, and a warmer person. Really well done, Alida. I think, again, that's a really good attempt to try and summarize the story. So let's look at some new language that we would use. I'm going to start off with this one, yet to come. Something that is yet to come. This is very common in terms of a phrase when you are reading stories in English. It's a really nice way to talk about the future, but it's in a story. So it's not the same as saying this is in the future in the real world. And because it's not, the future in the real world, authors often like to use yet to come. But it simply means the future. Can you use it in the real world? Yes, of course. Can you use it in an informal way? Yes. Would you ever use it in a formal way? Probably not. Unlikely. So let's see some examples. So, if you're using it in a story, you might say, he lost all his money, but the biggest problem was yet to come. Okay, so here we can see we're talking about a story. We're using past language. He lost all his money, but the biggest problem was yet to come. So something bad in the future hasn't happened yet in this character's story. Another example. This was a problem. But the worst was yet to come. Again, we're using it in a story narrative, and we're saying, but the worst was yet to come. So again, we're talking about the context of a story. Something was yet to happen, the future. It doesn't always have to be negative. It can be positive. I mean, for example, if you want to write something positive, she thought she would never find love, but something magical was yet to come. So that might be another way of trying to put using it in a positive way. She thought she would never find love, but something magical was yet to come. So you don't have to use it in a negative context. But like I said, this is definitely the sort of language you would expect to see in stories. So it's a good one to know. The next one I want to talk about would be bitterness, or to be bitter. So, for example, you could say, he is bitter. He is full of bitterness. She was left with a bitter taste. Now, this is all to do with a person's reaction to an experience, well, to a negative to a negative experience. Okay, and when there's elements of bitterness, it means the person can't or has not forgiven. Okay, so they are angry inside. So you've got the adjective, he is bitter. You've got it in its noun form, bitterness. So I should put this like this. Okay, bitter is the adjective form. Bitterness is the noun form. And bitter taste is a good phrase to know as well. Okay, so here are just two examples. Let's see. I'm going to write a couple of sentences. Let's go with one more, and we're going to go with venom, and then we're going to go into an activity where you guys need to choose between these options. Okay. What was it actually in the actual thing? Was it venom? Yeah, venom. Okay, when we say venom, okay, it's like a snake's, it's like snake's poison. Okay, that's what venom is. But if your voice, if you speak with bitterness and venom, it's saying like if you say his words were full of venom, what you're really saying is his words were poisonous. That's what you're really saying. So let's see how we're going to get on. Okay, so you've got the following options. You've got yet to come, you've got the adjective bitter, you've got bitterness, you've got bitter taste, and venom. Okay, let's see if you can put these words to their correct sentences. Okay, so number one, we're going to go with number two. So some extra context. Okay, so let's see what you guys do. You've got one, she was left with a something something after her breakup. So that tells you that you need two words to complete that. Number two, his words were full of something. We had to be careful. Number three, his something heart made him hateful. Number four, the something in his soul made him angry at the world, but the worst was something, something, something. So Alida has said the first one is bitter taste, two is venom, three is bitter, four is bitterness, and yet to come. Roberto says one is bitter, taste. 2 is venom. 3 is bitter. 4 is bitterness. So I'm guessing the last part of that would be yet to come. Leondina, same answer for number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Okay, so far, all 3 of you agree. Number 1, Evelina says bitter taste. Well done, Evelina. Let me know what you think the other answers are. And if you agree with Alida, Roberto, and Leondina, let me know. Okay, just by saying I agree with the others. Irina F, same here. So you agree with Alida, Roberto, and Leondina. Well, that sounds pretty good to me. So I can tell you guys that the correct answers, I'm just going to, yes, no, I think I'll tell you because it looks like you all agree with one another. Okay, so here are the correct answers. Let's see if all of you are correct. Yes, is the answer, and Evelina agrees. Excellent, well done, guys. So yeah, that's the correct answer. So excellent, well done. Okay, so I'm going to just introduce you to some other language that we can use in a little bit. But before we do, I'm going to give you guys another challenge. So here, what we can see is that if I write an incomplete sentence, you guys can take this new language and you can put it correctly where they belong. But can you create your own sentences? So I'll now like you to try and create your own sentences. And I would like you to try and use the language over here. So create your own sentences using the following language. Okay, so let's see how you guys do. Now, the reason being is this. When you do an activity where you have a sentence that is not complete and you have to take this language and you have to put them into the correct sentences in order to complete the language, that tells me, the teacher, that you understand the basics of using that word. However, it doesn't tell me that you know how to use the word on your own. So the next stage is called production. Can you produce the language once you have understood the language? So we've got these 4 terms, well, 5 terms actually. We've got yet to come. Actually, let me just do this again because I've just noticed there's a slight issue there. So we've got you've got yet to come, bitter, bitterness, bitter taste, and venom. You need to create your own sentences using some of these words. Let's see how you guys do. So Leondina has come out with, he struggled with her bitterness so far without knowing the worst was yet to come. Okay, I really like the sentence. Let's see. He struggled with her bitterness so far without knowing the worst was yet to come. Okay, really, really close here, Leondina. I'm going to give you 8 out of 10 for how good this is. How can we make this better? It's actually linking the first part to the second part, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So he struggled with her bitterness. But just to make this a little bit better, I would just change the middle bit to this. So he struggled with her bitterness, comma, but she didn't know that the worst was yet to come. That linkage there is going to make it a lot better and easier to understand. We could always add a little bit more after bitterness to make it sound like he struggled with her bitterness so much that he didn't know what to do, but she didn't know that the worst was yet to come. So you can play with the language, but it was just the linkage. But in terms of the task, using the target language today, Lee and Dina, well done. So Alida has written, you have tired mate in Argentina. It's so bitter. Not everybody like it. Okay, let's see. You have tried mate in Argentina. You have tried mate in Argentina. Mate. Mater. Wait, is this is mater? What is mater? Have you tried? Okay, so have you tried mater in Argentina? Okay, so sorry. So mater is something in Argentina. It's so bitter, not everybody likes it. Okay, I see what you're going for there. So you're talking about something that we would physically taste. Matter is an infusion. Okay. So, sorry, I completely misread your sentence, Alida. So have you tried matter in Argentina? It's so bitter. Not everybody likes it. Okay, in terms of using bitter to talk about taste, that's good. That works. Okay, well done. Let's see what other sentences you guys can create. In terms of while we're waiting, if tomorrow, I think tomorrow I might look at a particular language point. So tomorrow might be a little bit of a grammar session, and then Wednesday I think I'm going to go for more of a speaking lesson. In terms of sounds and stuff like that. So one is going to be grammar. The other one is going to be more to do with pronunciation and words. Tomorrow, I'm going to look at a grammar point called had better. It's a good one to know. So you can expect to look at that tomorrow. So guys, let's see. Anyone else like to try using the word bitterness or the phrase yet to come, or maybe venom? Maybe some of you want to try and use the word venom. Let's see how you guys do. If I can find more Christmas stories, I will do. I'd like to find more Christmas stories because it is Christmas. Roberto says, some people feel bitterness in their heart. They are full of venom and leave you a bitter taste. An unfortunate fate is yet to come for them. Wow, Roberto, good stuff. Well done there. I think that was an excellent paragraph. You probably could have broken that up into 2 sentences, but really well done, Roberto. Great stuff. Alida says, he now sees the future so bleak. Bleak, what a good word. But he doesn't know that the best is yet to come. Let's see. He now sees the future so bleak, but he doesn't know that the best is yet to come. Okay, I think that might work. Because you've gone with but. I think if we have more context, we might know a little bit more. But in terms of an example sentence in trying to use yet to come, I think that's not a bad attempt. I would say one of the things that is common about using yet to come is that it emphasizes the theme of the first point. So if the first part is negative, when you use yet to come, it's emphasizing the second part is also negative, maybe worse. If the first part is positive and then you use yet to come, then we're emphasizing that something even better is about to happen. So I would encourage you to try and use positive plus positive or negative plus negative when using yet to come, because that is how it is often used, and that's probably the best way to use it. So that would be my recommendation, but really good effort, Alida. Thank you very much for that. Okay, guys, we are coming to the end of today's lesson. So I'd like just to remind you guys that I will be here tomorrow and Wednesday, 3 o'clock, okay? But then Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, there won't be lessons. But next week, I will be giving lessons again at 3 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So make sure you join me on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays over this 2-week Christmas break for live lessons. If there are any lessons or that you would like me to do, if there's a type of language you would like me to look at, just let me know in the comment section, and I will have a look and I will include it as well. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for joining the lesson today. A big thank you to Alida, Roberto, Evelina, Irina F, Leondina for your contributions, for all of your contributions today. Really good stuff. Thank you so much. Alida, thank you, and see you soon. Leondina, you too. You're just preparing Christmas cookies, Leondina. That's great. That sounds like it's going to be a very tasty Christmas. Roberto says, thank you, Richie. Take care. You too. Evelina, you too. Leondina, you too. And Irina asks, what's the topic tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be a grammar one. We're going to look at a grammar, type of grammar called had better. What does this mean? How do we use it? When do we use it? So join me tomorrow to look at the grammar point of had better. It's a really good bit of language to know, and we can have a look at it tomorrow. So make sure you join me for that. Thank you very much, everybody. Merry Christmas. See you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and have a great afternoon and rest of the day. Bye for now.